Oh, I was just getting into the song. This is right in the groove. Welcome back, everybody, to Rewatchers Council. Glad to be back. And I'm glad to welcome back Adelia. How are you?
I'm doing good, Snark. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Ready to talk about bad eggs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. 'Cause if you
Yeah.
weren't ready to talk about bad eggs, boy, oh boy. All right, let's get right into it. Now, the original air date for this one, Adelia, January 12th, 98. So let's see. When was the last one? Dun, da, 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 da. The last one was December 8th. So we go a full month in
Yeah.
between Buffy episodes. We missed the
Those
entire Christmas season.
those long Christmas breaks for shows that they do on American TV for some weird reason.
Bananas. It's not like they have. Maybe they have to film them. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
they have to do them
Yeah.
real quick or whatever. No, I don't know why they do this,
I
but
don't either.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. But now this is another one written by good old Marty Noxon, who really starts getting a lot of her stuff on the show at this time. Uh, David Greenwald directs it. It's the first time he's directed an episode since Reptile Boy. We all remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The number one movie, Adelia. And
Okay.
something I'm going to have to. I told you there was a big movie coming. I said big because Titanic is number one. It's
Yeah.
number one for 15 weeks. So maybe
Yeah.
I'll find like what the video rentals were like because this could get a little boring after a while.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, one movie that we did miss over the break, Scream 2. I know it's one of your favorites of the Scream franchise. That's probably your favorite
No.
one. All right.
No. Never seen it.
The only reason I mentioned that is because a certain Sarah Michelle Gellar in Scream
Uh-huh.
2, the number one song in your United States of America is still Candle in the Wind.
Oh my
But
god.
but it's the last week. The
Oh
last
thank God.
it's the last grip.
How did we have this song as number one for so long and the UK did not?
No. I don't and Canada never did. Never.
Yeah.
They were she was,
It's it's very strange.
our royalty. You guys really liked, especially then, you guys were really into royalty for some reason. For a bunch of people
Yeah.
that gathered together to kill a bunch of people to make sure you don't have one.
Yeah.
But uh so
I think that's probably why we're so into royalty.
I guess
Be perfectly
what could
honest.
have been? Oh my god. Uh yeah.
No, I think
So
everyone's glad that we don't have a royal family in this country. They're just
well,
obsessed with the one that still exists.
I guess you're right. Okay. Now, the number one song over there in the UK, and because they're so strange, is once again Perfect Day. The same song we talked
Okay.
about before. There were
The Lou Reed song?
the Lou Reed song sung by everybody for a BBC commercial that hit the number one
Yeah.
on at least two separate occasions. We'll see what the rest of the year has to offer. Couple of songs we missed out on.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Too Much by the Spice Girls. Usually
Okay.
they're right there when it comes to Christmas number ones. They
Mhm.
missed it this time. They were number one the week after. The number one song over the Christmas holidays in the United
Christmas number
Kingdom.
1.
The Teletubbies say AO by the
I
Teletubbies.
remember that. I remember hearing that that was the Christmas number 1 and being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, the Teletubbies. Yeah, the English are peculiar sometimes, that's for sure.
Yes.
Uh, there's a new number one in Canada. The national disgrace is over, Adelia. The
Thank
tub,
God.
yeah, Chumbawamba has been dethroned. The number one song in Canada this week, "I Do" by Lisa Loeb. So, all right, there you go.
Okay.
It's not the Teletubbies, and it's not Chumbawamba. You know,
Yeah.
they got knocked down, Adelia. They did not get back
Mhm.
up again. All right. So the DVD synopsis says Willow, Cordelia, Giles, and Joyce become drones for an ancient beast after its eggs are mistakenly given out as part of a health class assignment.
I mean, were they mistakenly given out?
That's my exact point. Were they a mistake? Also, yeah, where did this guy just saw a bunch of eggs lying around or something like that? And saying, you know what? I could probably do this as a health assignment for these horny little buggers.
Yeah.
And they're horny in this one. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Yes, they are.
oh boy. Now, to the episode. Okay, now it starts off in the mall, Adelia. Surprisingly, we do not see much of this mall in this series, considering
Yeah.
it's a girl who talks about dresses and all that stuff all the time.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I don't remember an appearance by the mall before this.
I don't think there
I'm
was.
really surprised that they didn't use the mall as a setting more.
Yep. I believe, yeah, we're gonna see it a little bit more coming. I think even in the next episode, there's an appearance in the mall. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, like I also get it mixed up with the movie. The movie has a lot of scenes in the mall. So there you
Mhm.
go. So yeah, I don't think we saw the mall yet. So the debut of the Sunnydale Mall, yet another thing they have in
Is it
that
may is it maybe because
two
they
side by
had to
town.
pay to go on location to an actual mall?
Has to be right. But
Yeah.
it's California. You'd figure they'd have just a mall built for people to walk around in and shoot. Who knows?
You would think.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know where. It's probably be in Torrance. There was where they filmed everything else was in Torrance. So I never
Yeah.
looked up to see where that mall was. I actually couldn't have been bothered. So you see Buffy and Joyce talking. Joyce has, let's say, some opinions on Buffy's sense of fashion. I think that's a nice way to say it. And well, to be fair, you're looking it up. Buffy has a few.
Yeah, I am.
Nice. Buffy has a few opinions on Joyce's fashions as well. Now,
I'm sure she
Adelia,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see. The
I believe
Sunnydale
she called them
Mall.
"Moo are us." Moo are us.
Um Sunnydale Mall was filmed in the Sherman Oaks Galleria for the episode Bad Eggs and
Okay,
in the Robinson's department store for the upcoming episode Innocence.
there you go. Okay,
There you go.
well, yeah. So yeah, all right. Sherman, I guess Sherman Oaks. I have no idea what anything is in Southern California. We'll just say Greater Los Angeles area. How about that? That makes it easy for me.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Now, Buffy sees a cowboy of all people talking to a
Yeah.
girl on an escalator. Looks at, for some reason, looks at the mirror that's in the escalator for some reason. Notices this
Mhm.
guy, no reflection. One thing I also noticed, there's an awful lot of sunlight in that mall.
There is.
How did this guy just pick up a girl, walk around a mall? Spoiler alert, this guy is uh, unalive. Is that a nice way to put it?
Sure.
Unalive with pointy teeth. You know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about? He's a
Yeah.
he's a vampire. So, anyways, Buffy ends up following them to an empty arcade. Now they said I guess Buffy's mom said the mall was closing and stuff like that. Now in the '80s, the last place that anybody would be in would be the mall or in the arcade. Everybody just stayed in the arcade till they were actually forced out at gunpoint, if I remember right.
Yeah.
There's nobody in this arcade except
No, there's
for
not.
Buffy. Uh, we got Mr. Gorch, and then that poor girl who's almost Gorch food. So, and she's playing pinball, almost gets her high score somehow. Uh, Also, it's nice to see a pinball table. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just, what happened to pinball? So sad. Let's all take a moment to reflect on pinball. Anyways, Buffy interrupts them, says, hey, honey, I thought you were gonna stop cheating on me and stuff like that. The girl turns around and turns out Mr. Gorch is a vampire, and he ends up knowing that they start fighting or whatever. One thing I'd like to mention is Buffy gets a low blow in on this vampire.
Mhm.
That is not something she has done often before this. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
Marty Noxon letting out a little frustration. It's like, just punch this guy right where the sun doesn't shine. Um, he feels like he knows that she's the Slayer somehow. He has an idea who she is.
Yeah.
But Lyle Gorge, I didn't even mention, sorry, played by Jeremy Ratchford, who's been in everything that Ferris has ever watched, NCIS, Bones, The Mentalist. He was in a TV version of the movie Taken. Did you know that existed?
I did actually.
Whoa, I had no idea. And also,
Yeah.
he was one of the leads on that Cold Case show. He did
Hmm.
156 episodes on the show somehow. Anyways, she goes to stake him, but he hightails it out of there. Once again, Buffy is doesn't go chase after him or anything like that. She's like,
No.
well, you know what? He probably won't be up to any, he'll probably leave people alone after this. He's learned his lesson. So Buffy goes back to the food court, but she had forgotten her mom's dress that she had to go pick up and all the hubbub. Joyce asks her if she ever thinks of anything besides boys and clothes, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy does there's a lot of on the nose things on this one. Buffy says that she's saving the world from vampires, but Joyce didn't seem to appreciate that much. Now,
No.
also, if the stores are closing, how are they just sitting down to a meal then? You'd think the food courts would close down first,
You
right?
would think. I don't know about first, but you would think
Oh,
it would all close at the same time.
yeah. Yeah, and just I don't know. It just seems odd that they're sitting down for Chinese food as the mall closes. Anyways,
Yeah.
maybe that's just a me thing. I haven't, not like I go to the mall a lot anymore. Probably mall culture. I would imagine has changed. You
Well, I
know,
know like our
you can
mall
imagine.
here would be open like an hour before the stores open, so people could go in there and walk. That's at the opening of day, not
Yeah,
the closing of day.
that's like the big thing for old people, right? So the old
Yep.
people don't have to get threatened by those gnarly looking teenagers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you know what? Safety first. I always say safety first,
Yes.
Adelia. Now, we get the credits after that. Then we come back from credits, and we have a nice scene of Cordy and Xander making out once again in the closet. But guess what, Adelia? They're still assholes to each other. They almost leave after they start saying about that she doesn't want to look at him as long as and he doesn't want to ever hear her while they do this. But they turn out the light. They start falling to the ground, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, we cut to a teacher who, again, another on the nose thing because the first thing he says he's talking about sex on the chalkboard, Adelia.
Yep.
Good old health class. And
Yep.
all the students look like they're 30 years old, except for, Willow and Buffy. I think
Yep.
everybody else may have been 30 years old. The teacher's played by
Maybe.
Rick Zeef. And this guy is interesting. He does like a lot of voice acting, like video games, cartoons. Too many that I even wanted to mention. A couple of movies he was in: Terminator 3. Oh, he was also in Mad Men, which is good, and ER as well. So he wants to know any negative consequences of sex, and you gotta love
This part was funny.
Cordelia volunteering a story about a friend and a Miata. Xander's looking. I don't know if Xander's looking guilty or jealous there
Yeah.
because yeah, we'll just put a bookmark in that. I'll never remember when it comes to the thing I want to talk about, anyways. But I'm just gonna pretend I have a bookmark. So uh, Xander admits that what if the other person has halitosis, which is also one of my favorite things to say to people. Now, there are more dirty laundry, a little out loud and secret, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Willow finally has enough of this and just censors pregnancy, which I guess was of course, the teacher says, yeah, pregnancy. The teenager's number one thing about pregnancy about sex is pregnancy. I don't know if it still is. I think,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah, back in my day. Luckily, I was at a school. I was at a pretty big school, and I didn't know anybody who got pregnant in high school. I thought it was pretty
There were
Like,
a
looking
few at my
back,
high school.
yeah, maybe we were just all chaste or something. You know what I mean? We were all the good kids. Uh, no. Willow gets right. Yeah. Pregnancy is a great one and stuff like that. Of course, he should have said some more about STDs and those kind of things. So,
Yep.
the teacher wants to hand out eggs, the aforementioned eggs for the students, and they need to
Yep.
partner up to take care of them. Cordy goes and picks another student we never hear from again. So Xander all of a sudden has all kinds of confidence and goes to another girl there and says, "Hey, I think you're looking at Xander Jr. there," and so and she has a big smile on her face, and all of a sudden Xander isn't a huge geek anymore. Yeah, that part I did not
I
understand at
didn't
all,
get
but
that part either. Like,
yeah,
why does Xander suddenly have that confidence?
yeah,
It's weird.
uh, and we never hear from either one of these people again. So I have
Yeah.
no idea why they did that. So next we see Buffy's in the library with Giles. Willow and Xander come in with their eggs. She asks why she wasn't in class, and she says vampire issues. Are we just
Yeah.
like is vampire issues from the day before? Like I don't understand this one at
Well, I mean,
all.
like talking to Giles about the Gorge guy, maybe
Yeah, but
is all
for
I can think of.
that would have to
Which,
be
if,
it.
first off, didn't Joyce ground Buffy?
She grounds her coming up. She hasn't
Okay,
grounded her
because
yet.
I thought
Spoilers,
she had already.
spoilers, guys. No, 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 not
Okay.
yet. No, she was just
Okay.
upset that she forgot the dress.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Buffy stayed in that night, or she was with Angel that night. I don't know.
Yeah,
She
we're
definitely
yeah.
didn't talk to Giles that night.
No, we have to do some. We have to do our own homework for this somehow. Uh,
Yeah,
but as we've said a million times or whatever, well, we just go with it. You know
just go
what?
with it. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember this television show winning any Emmys. It's not like that's not why we watch the show. We watch the show because it's fun, and sometimes you just
yeah.
have to let things go. You know what I mean? She Buffy says that did the teacher notice her tardiness, and Willow, of course, has to correct her that tardy people actually show up.
Show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I was tardy for most of my high school experience then, if you know what I mean. Means I hardly ever went.
Mhm.
I was very bad at it. So the teacher still ends up giving Willow an egg to give to Buffy, but since there was an odd number of people in the class, she has to be a single mom. In yet
Mhm.
another case of this episode hitting things on the head, where
Yeah.
Buffy has to live out her mother's experience, but Xander reminds her that she has to teach the good Christian values, which is what the show's all about.
Mhm.
Except
Of
for
course.
Willow, who says that hers is Jewish, which I think is the
Mhm.
first time they've ever really mentioned. Like her name is Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess Rosenberg can be on the fence or something. I was looking up. I was like, oh, I always just
Yeah.
thought everyone knew that she was Jewish. Anyways, Buffy isn't thrilled about having to raise it herself, but Giles has been researching Lyle Gorge, and he has a eureka moment, and then he lets everyone know he's found something. Just that Lyle and his brother Tector,
What
Adelia.
is that name? First off, I thought they were saying Hector the first time they said it. Then I was like, no, that's definitely not an H. And I looked it up and I was like, Tector? What is this name?
You know what? The old West was a funny
I
time.
guess.
Lyle, still quite common name, and I guess Tector, maybe maybe
Maybe not so
Tector
much.
maybe Tector was like the old West version of Kyla or something like that.
I don't
Maybe it was
know.
super popular for a brief time or whatever, and then people,
Maybe.
you know, got to their senses. Anyways, turns out that those two brothers massacred an entire Mexican village at one time, Adelia, and that
Hmm.
was even before they were vampires. Yeesh.
Yikes.
But also, turns out, luckily for Buffy and everyone else, there are a couple of dummies.
Mm-hmm.
but not wimps. So Willow thinks that Angel should help Buffy find them. Xander doubts that there be any, hunting going on, if you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. Buffy
Yep.
begs to differ, of course, and we cue, of course, to Buffy and Angel making out right after that. Buffy still tells him, it's like, okay, maybe we should hunt. I think she takes 3 steps backwards. And then more making out, Adelia.
Yep.
But we got a couple perverts on
Yes,
the
we do.
old fence. Turns out it's those Gorge boys watching,
Mm-hmm.
and they know who Angelus is. And of
Yeah.
course, they have the talk here, like, should we go do something about this? And of course, Lyle has a plan in place, so he's gonna let them live. I guess a lot in the same way that Buffy let him go in the arcade. He's gonna
Yeah.
let them go about their business because he has this big plan for them.
Yeah.
Now, I was watching uh, an interview that Seth Meyers was doing with Bill Hader, and they were talking about when Bill Hader had uh, a skit that he submitted, and this is when Seth Meyers was the head writer, and he said it was about like something. It was about time travel, but then all of a sudden Abraham Lincoln was also sort of thing, and Seth Meyers just kept saying, "You're just putting a hat on a hat. You're putting a hat on a hat." And I think this is what the problem is with this episode. It's still a fun episode, but
Yeah.
either have the Gorches or have the body snatch and eggs. Like the
Yeah.
two of them, like it doesn't make any sense at the
It
end.
doesn't make any sense. And what exactly was the Gorge's plan? It never becomes
Yeah, well,
super clear.
that's why I kept mentioning the plan. He has a plan. There's no plan.
Yeah,
There's
there's
no
no
plan.
plan.
Anyways, Tector's played by James Parks, ideally, and I think he
Okay.
was really good. I really liked Tector. Now he was in NCIS, Bones, CSA. Again, all of Ferris's favorites, but he was also in a whole bunch of Tarantino movies. He was in both Kill Bills.
Okay.
He was in The Hateful Eight, which not many people were in, and Django Unchained. His dad was Michael Parks. I don't know if you recognize the name, but he was
No.
a huge character actor in the 70s and stuff like that. Some people absolutely love him. Kevin Smith let him put him in that movie Red State. I think he got an Academy Award nomination for it and stuff like that. Anyways, I think he plays Michael Parks' kids in those movies too, and like they just have the same name, and they just put them in different movies and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought it was fun, but yeah, we'll talk more about Tector in a minute. Buffy goes to her room, goes to bed, does that quick egg baby checklist thing, and goes to sleep.
Yep.
2 o'clock in the morning runs around, and a tentacle pops out of a
Yep.
conveniently pre-cut circle in the egg. Why wouldn't they just bring the thing out from the other side of the egg? Like, why do
Yeah.
we have to see the pre-cut egg hole? Ugh, whatever. So, anyways, it grows these fingery-looking things. These things reach out. They stick on Buffy's, and like her ears, and then one goes over her eyes and stuff like. I'm sure you're a big fan of that.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
really.
I know the moment that you're not going to like the most in this. Anyways, the Gorges start complaining about eating rats. Tector wants to go stay in a motel and not a sewer. Lyle wants to keep a low profile for some reason. The brothers start arguing. Lyle's bothered by the questions and the whining. And then you see a little bit of genuine emotion out of Tector when Lyle says that he should have left him on the doorstep after their mom left and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was a lot more acting there than that scene needed, and I appreciate it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways, then
absolutely.
they start beating the hell out of each other. After that, they're laughing the entire way. So I guess this is just what the Gorches do for fun at this point, which is a
Yep.
little odd. So we go back to Buffy. She wakes up. Her egg looks fine, but she's feeling a little funky.
Yeah.
Ideally, starts drinking her mom's coffee. Uh, you know, there's just some things you don't do. There's such, you know, a little decorum Would have been
Yeah.
nice. So, uh, again, Joyce starts talking about how parenting's a pain and says, wait till the egg starts dating and stuff like that. So, yeah, we get it. Then we go to the library. Giles is a little startled by the Scoobies. And it turns out the health teacher didn't come in for class that day. Giles asked if they could help them. Then the girls say no. And then start relaxing on the steps. And they look zonked out. I think that's the
Yes.
nicest thing to say. Xander's all for it, though. Xander has tons of energy. Buffy only speaks in very few words right now, and then she lets Giles. She somehow manages to communicate to Giles that she didn't find the Gorges, and then Giles finally starts noticing how sluggish she seems. Xander tells him that maybe they're too stressed over the egg thing, and he starts juggling his around and drops it.
Yeah.
It doesn't break. Now, I am not a boiled egg fan. I 100% think like they may be my least favorite food in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was still crack though, right? Like if you dropped
It
the,
should.
it
It
was still
should
crack.
definitely still crack.
Like that's what they do to open it, right? It doesn't just miraculously just pop out or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he has to answer to Will why it didn't break, and of course he says he boiled his. Giles puts the book away. We see a little pulsating egg there on the shelf. Somehow they're just
Yep.
were there somehow. They
Yep.
now, yeah. So they also consider him an overeater. Cordy shows up, tells everyone she thinks the teacher's dead. She wants Xander to help her look for him, and then slowly mentions that maybe his body might be in a closet, and that they should go check out some closets.
That was really funny.
This is a finally Will is starting to notice that they're getting weirder. Ask Buffy, are they getting weirder? Buffy just says they're weird.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. Buffy agrees and it's decided that Buffy will help hunt the Gorges again that night. Angel's gonna help, and of course, when I say help, it means he's gonna, help trying to loosen the plaque in the back of her molars, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Make out with
So
Buffy.
yeah, the physicality between these two are really ramping up. Angel says she should go home, and he'll go hunt the Gorge boys. But Buffy talks about her egg diary, and that she has no plans to have kids soon. And then we get this conversation about how Angel can never have kids, and that Buffy, when she looks at the future, all she sees is Angel, and
Yeah.
yeah, she's 16 years
I
old.
didn't like that. Yeah. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Uh, a little more making out before she goes home, but whatever. We look back at the school and we see a security guard uh, in the basement. He sees the doors ajar. He goes down, finds a huge hole in the wall leading to a tunnel. And then our teacher there, like his name is Mr. Whitmore. I don't think I ever mentioned that. Hits him from behind and then follows him in. I don't know why he
Yeah.
hits him from behind when the other guys just put the little
Yeah.
bug dude on him and stuff like that. And it's all quiet. Anyways, Buffy comes home from hunting, sees the egg starting to hatch, and then the contents leaping at her in what is for sure Adelia's favorite part of this entire episode.
No.
Just like Alien. So she grabs an iron, which luckily she had in her room, and starts checking under the bed, trying to find it. She does find a pair of scissors, though, and then starts using her Slayer stealth thing or whatever. Gets the thing on the wall with the scissors, big purple mark on the wall, and then a
Yeah.
weird amount of stabbing on the floor.
Yeah.
It was like you'd figure that isn't even rage. At this point, she's just like, I want to make sure that I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, but she calls Willow, see how her egg's doing and stuff like that. Willow's like, it's fine, you know. It's probably this was probably a trap by the Gorches, and so of course Willow or Buffy is apologizing for waking her up, and then we see Willow's eggs hatched, and she has that
Yeah.
weird looking red. Like I think of the actors that got body snatched or whatever in this one. Her and Giles, I think, did the best job of just
Yeah, they did
like
great.
looking like so maybe worse than the egg splitting is Joyce showing up, noticing Buffy is still has all her clothes on and a jacket, and she has like the gig is up or whatever. So she starts giving her crap all the way to the drive to school in the morning, where she says, after your classes are done at 2:30, and at 2:33 you're going to be at the library till 5 o'clock or 5:30 when I go and pick you up. Like, all right,
Yeah.
she goes to the library every day anyway, so it's a big deal with that.
Hmm.
Then she sees Cordy with one of those teddy bear backpacks. Do you remember those teddy bear backpacks?
I do. A lot of
Yeah.
people had them at my school.
Well, turns out you can blame Cordelia for that. She started a nationwide craze, she said.
Hmm.
So Buffy asks if her egg is acting all weird. Corey reminds her that eggs can't emote, which I guess is
Yeah.
true. Then
Yeah.
Willow kind of creepily grabs Buffy's shoulder and says, "Hey." And we see Xander all disappointed with his chocolate bar. So he grabs his hard boiled egg, Adelia.
I don't get this.
I was, again, hard boiled eggs and egg salad sandwich and stuff. I hate them. I hate them. So as
Yeah.
soon as I see someone rolling this thing, like my stomach starts turning. Like I could see all kinds of the blood and gore and everything like that you're gonna shove at me in this show. But when it comes to almost eating a boiled egg, I won't have it. It's too much. So, anyways,
Thankfully, he doesn't.
yeah, Buffy, Cordelia, and Cordelia are walking. We'll ask Buffy if Buffy bought the thing that attacked her. She says yes. Giles wants to analyze it, and as we walk back, we see the tentacles on Willow's back. Yeah, but when Xander goes to dig into Junior, he sees the gross purple thing and shrieks, which I appreciated. I would have done it just for a
Hmm.
regular egg. And now the Scoobies are in a in a biology classroom with a dead egg bug thing. And Willie says, or Will says she wants Giles. Giles says she wants them to get started. Of course, it's another empty school classroom here.
Yeah,
There
because
seems
there's
to be
so
one.
many of those during a school day.
It's an enormous school. To be fair, it's an
Yeah.
enormous school that
Yeah.
nobody lives in that town, but whatever. Willow grabs a scalpel, and we see tentacles pop out of Cordelia's teddy bear's eyes. Ugh. Yeah, Willow and Cordelia mentioned that maybe uh, their thing wasn't harmed, and that maybe he had been used to offspring back to the mother, or maybe you should bring the offspring back to the mother Bezoar, which
Hmm.
is an odd name. And then they attack Buffy and Xander again, rendering them unconscious. Seems to happen a lot in this show.
It does. It does.
And Willow and the Cordelia and the other students and teachers start grabbing pickaxes and hoes and shovels and start heading towards the basement. There's a lot of pickaxes. We're a high
There are.
school,
There
and a
are.
lot of shovels maybe. There's
Shovels, maybe.
there's yard work to do.
Pickaxes, though? I don't know what their use at a school is.
Well, Sunnydale High School and Prospector Academy or something like that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways, they all head off to the basement. Joyce goes to pick up Buffy. I guess it's 5:30 now. But Buffy isn't in the library. And it seems awfully dark out for California for 5:30. You know what I mean? So strange. And Giles is hiding in his jail cell, it seems. Joyce, if Buffy was there, Giles says he hasn't seen her. Joyce says it's the last straw, Adelia. Damn it. She tells Giles that kids are a huge burden. Giles then gets Joyce to turn for a moment, does the old, oh, hey, what's that? And then
Yeah.
plop, he drops the alien bug or whatever it is, demon bug on her. Giles has the blank 1,000 yard stare, and it's so good. So,
Yeah.
anyways, they end up joining the mindless horde that goes to the basement. This whole thing about everyone going to the basement, of course, also makes no sense. Some people will
No.
last around forever just in case someone shows up. Some people just go straight there. Anyways, Buffy wakes up Xander. He sees where he is and lets slip that the last time Cordy dragged him in there, it was a lot nicer. Buffy
Yeah.
again was like, what? And then he says he blames it on head trauma, which is smart thinking. He wonders why they
Yep.
didn't just kill them. Then notice two little vibrating eggs on the ground,
Yep.
which promptly gets smashed by a toolbox, and one of the biggest toolboxes I've ever seen for a janitor's closet. And then she just busts them out. They head to the library, but there's no Giles. They decide to do some research on their own. The two
Hmm.
most non-researchy guys. They even had to ask, how are they going to do this? And I loved Buffy's answer, just a book. And
Yeah.
luckily for them, there's a book right there on the counter, just a foot away from her, to the exact page they need to go to.
With the exact information they need.
Yeah, luckily. But Xander steps on a broken eggshell, and so he's figured it out. He knows that the Giles has gotten the same fate as everybody else.
Yep.
You see all their little cronies there and pickaxing in the basement floor. They're all harvesting eggs and stuff like that. And then we see this gross little purple thing pulsating in the floor. And Buffy,
Disgusting.
yes, it was not great. Buffy and Xander just figure out that this is the Bezoar. It's a prehistoric parasite. And it's a hatchling's neural clamp onto hosts, so they'll do its bidding, Adelia.
Yeah.
And we hear screaming happen from outside. And poor Jonathan's yelling for help. And as soon as they open the door, Jonathan straightens up, says, it's nothing, he fell. Like, most people yell, help me, as they fall.
Yeah.
I do. I know I do.
Yeah.
I wasn't disturbed by this at all. But he just turns around, he starts heading off in the other direction. So again, like I said, it has like no sense how these things work or whatever, how the drones just go to the
No.
basement, some will hang around, some go directly there, like poor Jonathan. And also, what was Jonathan doing there so late? And there was nobody
Yeah.
else there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird.
Whatever. It's nice seeing Jonathan, I guess you
Yes.
could say. So, anyways, they said, "Oh, I guess he's being called to mommy." So they follow him to the lair. Then they see what they're up against. And they make a quick plan. Buffy leaves to find a weapon. Xander tries to fit in and stop all those eggs from spreading. He then decides he's going to follow Cordy and some other guy down this tunnel. I do like when Giles hands him this big boulder. He grabs it and just throws it away. What are you gonna do?
That was
What are you gonna
funny.
do with this? Yeah. Buffy is at the top of the tunnel, and then the Gorch boys end up again. Now this is the part that doesn't make any sense.
Is this the
What?
plan? Lyle's great plan? He goes to the school at like dusk because he thinks Buffy's gonna be there? Like,
Yep.
what?
This makes zero sense. Let's go to a
It makes
place
no
where
sense.
she has the advantage of knowing where everything is and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, they start fighting. Tector gets knocked down. Lyle and Buffy fall down the tunnel to the lair down below. Buffy sees her mom. Then they get noticed by Willow, who just calmly says to kill them, which made me laugh. I don't know why. And then she and
Yeah.
Lyle start fighting. The Jones, her family, her friends, her classmates. Once in a while, they end up punching each other, which is nice of them to do. Then, yeah, Sanders followed Cordy and another drone to the end of the tunnel. He takes care of the guy, just puts him into the wall, knocks him out, tells Cordy or whatever he doesn't want to hurt. She punches him on his bump, which he gets mad at, and then punches her in the face.
Not great.
That was uncool.
Yeah, very not great.
Okay, she's a drone. He was nothing. He was just Xander. Xander has that in him. Now we know that he can just punch his girlfriend in the face.
I really did not enjoy this part.
No, it sucked. This was terrible. This is an awful thing. I don't think this is something they ever go to again with his character. I don't know if after it was done or whatever, somebody said, let's not ever do that again because it's like that's bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, we go back to the lair. Tector finally decides to show up. He looks cool. Like his vampire makeup actually looks pretty cool too. He sees the Bezoar, its eyes open, and he thinks it's pretty cute. You know what I mean? And then a tentacle grabs him by the throat and drags him in. That's the Undertector.
Yep. Nice to know you, Tector.
Yep. Let's pour some out. Let's pour the spittoon out for our old pal Tector. Lyle blames Buffy.
I don't get that.
He throws her down. Then she has to dodge a pickaxe attack from her own mother.
Yep.
Then she's grabbed by a tentacle, Adelia,
Mhm.
a la the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
She gets dragged in just like Lando Calrissian. You know what I mean? But you hear a few really disgusting squish sounds and stuff like that. And then you see the Bazone's eyes close
Well,
forever.
we should mention she grabs a pickaxe on her
Yeah,
way
she
in
grabbed the
there.
pickaxe on her way in. And also, we should also mention that she didn't need a blind Han Solo to get out of it either. She managed to get herself out because she
Yep.
has a, she's her own person. So the parasites start dropping off all the drones, and they all fall unconscious, including Giles. And I was thinking, I should probably put that on the board, right? But I don't think it counts.
I don't think it counts because he didn't get hit in the head and
He,
fall unconscious. He
yeah,
just
the board says times Giles gets knocked out, not
I
times
don't think he got knocked out.
Giles goes unconscious.
Yeah.
Agreed. Stays off the board. He hasn't been knocked. I don't think he's been knocked out this season,
He
has
hasn't
he?
been knocked out in a while.
Like his brain's healing. What's
Yeah.
going on here?
I
Everybody
don't
else
know.
gets knocked out. Xander got knocked out in this episode. So did Buffy. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. Lyle starts surveying the scene. Then that pickaxe is checked out of the hole, and a purple good slayer climbs out. Then he decides it's over and he gets out of there.
Yeah. I have to say, Buffy looked pretty badass climbing out
She
of that
looked
hole.
goddamn cool. Like she's like, all right, Gorch, enough. So yeah,
Yeah.
smart on Gorch to get the hell out of here. But yet again, another case of Buffy letting a vampire go for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll
I'm
ever
gonna
see him
guess we
again.
never see him again.
We'll see. Giles then explains to everyone affected that there was a gas leak. Of course, the old
gas
gas
leak.
leak excuse works so well. Then he asks Xander what actually happened. And Xander just said, "Stick with the gas leak, and I'll fill you in later." And then we see Willow and Cordy. Willow asks if she hit Xander, and Xander says, "Yeah, you knocked me out." And Cordy says, "Did I hit you?" And he says, "Yeah, everybody hit me." He didn't mention one thing about it, Xander.
Yeah.
And but Cordy said, "Good. She didn't want to feel left out." So yeah, yeah. And then we see Buffy, who decided to get cleaned up real quick and get changed, come in, starts asking around for her mom. Xander says, yeah, she's still kind of out of it. Finds her, says to her, how's it going and stuff like that. She says, I was like, somehow Joyce fully remembers that she was at the library and that she wasn't there. Buffy said she was at the gym. She says, I told you to be at the library. So she's getting, even worse. She says, I'm going to be grounded. She says, you're already grounded. And now you can only go to the washroom in school, and that's it. So you can't ever leave your room. So what does she do? She follows. That's what her mom says, and just makes out with her vampire boyfriend through the window.
Through the window.
Aw, so
Yeah.
romantic. The end. So I think it's a good episode. Now I wouldn't say this is
Yeah.
an all-time classic episode, but it
No.
definitely has fun parts and one very remarkably bad part that should never happen again.
Yeah. Awful part. I enjoyed this episode. I had glanced at Wikipedia after watching the episode, and Vox did a list of all the Buffy episodes. They ranked this 136 out of 144.
Ooh, what?
I was like, I don't agree with that. I'm pretty sure I've definitely seen enough episodes of this show so far, 8 episodes, to be like, they're worse than this one.
Oh yeah.
So I
and
was
and
very
there's a
confused
lot
by
more to
that.
come. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's a lot of swings and misses coming up and stuff like that too. But you have to take this. You have to take a pitch every once in a while to get the good stuff. Yeah, the 7th worst. Oh my god. Whatever. Terrible. Anyways, next time, Adelia, you just celebrated a birthday. If
I did.
remember it. Well, next episode is Buffy's birthday.
Oh
That's
boy.
pretty exciting, eh?
Yep.
Now, Drew and Spike are going to be back. They have a nice little present for her.
I feel 100% certain that it's either this episode or the following one that was the first episode I ever watched.
Well, if it makes you feel better, yeah, Drew and Spike have a present. Angel has a package
Mm-hmm.
for Buffy in the next episode. If you think that's a bad dad joke, well, just let me be the judge of that, Adelia. Okay.
Okay.
Surprise is the next episode. Thank you for joining me, Adelia. Can you be found anywhere on this whole Let's Get Ready network of ours?
You can starting 11's over for the season. We'll
Yep.
be back in August. So you can find me on this show every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific on the entertainment channel. And I'm hoping to get back on the open table with Ferris sometime soon, 8 p.m. Pacific on Fridays. Check those out. Snark, where can people find you?
Oh, where can't they? I'm just kidding. You can find me on Playoff Beards while the Stanley Cup playoffs is still going on. If you're watching as this episode gets aired on Thursday, I believe we'll have just aired the latest one, previewing the Stanley Cup Finals act between two clubs I hate. It was going to be two clubs I hate anyways, but why Edmonton? Why Edmonton?
I know. I just
Yeah.
want to say I predicted this final and I hate it.
It's the worst thing. Yeah. Why couldn't you
Yeah.
predicted free ice cream or something? That's much better.
I know.
Let's see. Where else? LGRN After Snark Weekends with Danny. This week, what are we talking? As this release is released this week, we're going to be talking about the Acolyte episodes, the first two episodes that have come in. I believe you're going to be doing a Patreon watch along of those as well that you'll also be able to find on the entertainment channel. But as for that, is there much else that we're doing? I don't think so. The Star Wars video game show is going to come soon, and the Doom video game show is going to come back soon as well. Hopefully, I'll have some time where I can actually play it. Should be soon. Should be soon. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Yep, next week's surprise. After that, the fun's over for a little while for poor Buffy. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.